Oh, jeez. Oh, good Christ. End of the episode. End of the season. End of the entire season. Oh, okay. Wow, okay. That was that was a tense season finale. That was a tense season finale. I don't think I've ever felt that tense since, I'd say, probably season 4. Probably the end of season 4 with Rita's death and all. I don't think I've ever felt this tense since then. But yeah, so yeah, Maria. The episode literally, basically started off with Maria trying to arrest Dexter. It started off with that kind of with that kind of episodic plot device. So yeah, I didn't. I thought it would. I thought it would just be questioning. I thought when I think she showed up with the two officers, and I thought, oh, it would just be them questioning him. But then, usually when you question someone, it's usually you would call them down to if you're under suspicion of them being involved in the crime, then you call them down to the thing. But if they're like a witness that can testify, then you actually visit them, you talk to them. So I thought she was just going to question him, but then it would make much more sense. He's already under suspicion. She has had him under suspicion since day one, since the beginning of this season. So yeah, like it's been a crazy ride watching her actually pin this stuff down and eventually getting to his name. And as soon as she circles his name on her list of names, it's like, that she's just gonna get closer as the episodes go by. And with this episode, she actually has a warrant for his arrest, and she's arresting him, reading him his Mariah rights. So yeah, damn. And I think that scene of her walking him through, I think that scene of her walking him through the Miami PD with all the other officers looking on, like, wait, holy crap, she's got Dexter Morgan in handcuffs, like the blood spatter guy, like, and you see, damn it, you see like Quinn. No, not Quinn. Well, Quinn just standing by, wondering what the fuck's going on, and then you see Batista being like, "Maria, what are you? Are you insane? Like, this is Dexter Morgan we're talking about. He's not a criminal. He works for us with us to catch the criminals, and he's in Dexter's solid defense." And then Debra comes around, and she's in his defense and everything. Like, just seeing the odds stacked so tightly against Maria in terms of manpower was an interesting thing. And I think it was the worst thing about watching that scene, like knowing all these people who know Dexter as a good guy, defending him, and even just Batista just being in the room, just telling Dexter, "Don't say anything, Maria. This is enough. He's answered enough of your questions. You got the wrong guy," and stuff like that. But just knowing that Maria is actually right, because I think it emphasized, and I think it epitomized the concept of this series. Like, it's a fun watch because it's a show about a serial killer who only goes after the bad guys. So because of that, you root for him. But then you come across stuff like this where the people that he works with, catch him indirectly in the act, and they have their suspicions, and then the more they investigate, the more that their suspicions are confirmed. But then they're the only ones who believe it. They're the only ones who know the truth. They're the only ones who actually have this evidence, who have this kind of information. So when it comes to an actual confrontation scene, like an interrogation, the odds are stacked against them, because no one else, because again, like Dexter, he's built up this cover so much, he's lived this cover, but right now for him, that cover has become so real that it's kind of, he's become clumsier. And it's how, it's how Maria, caught him in the act in the first place. He was so clumsy, he dropped the blood slide down the gutter, and then Maria found it when everyone else was at the scene of the crime and they were cleaning up and everything. Like, she found it then, and she found a blood slide, and it brought back those memories. So yeah, seeing that scene, like seeing Maria fighting so hard to convict him in that light, with everyone else telling her she was wrong, was actually really it was tough to see. But at the same time, it's like, this show, you root for Dexter, and even knowing how right Maria is, even knowing how right the other person is. So it was a really, really well done kind of scene. I think it was a really well done kind of portion of the story. But yeah, I think I loved the Dokes flashbacks. I loved the Dokes flashbacks. I mean, Yeah, I loved him, but like I think it reminded me of how much I miss him. It reminded me of how much I miss him and his character. He was hilarious. He was really he was a good cop. Again, he was like Maria. He was, you want to defend Dexter, but with Dokes, like he was just a hilarious guy. He was a good cop. He was a strong person physically, and like as an actual person, he had like a strong identity, a strong sense of self. He knew what he knew, and he didn't believe in coincidences. If he saw evidence, and he believed in the evidence. And Dokes was the catalyst for all of this. He was the one who knew that Dexter was weird. I think finding out that he was the Bayharbor Butcher was a surprise for Dokes, because he never would. I think he never would have actually accused him of being like a proper serial killer. But he knew Dexter was off. He knew Dexter was he knew Dexter was weird, and he was creepy. He wasn't like the others. He was like really socially just different, pretty much. So he knew all that. He always felt that way about Dexter. He always called him like a creep and stuff. So yeah, but like so. Maria knew that too, but like I think there was the episode where he confronted Dexter in his lab, and then Dexter headbutted him after saying "I own you," because he knew that everyone else in the office knew that Dexter was innocent. They saw him as this good guy who worked with them, who helped them catch the cops, who did his job well. And Dokes was the only one who felt differently about him. So then he attacked him out in the middle, in the more public part of the department, and then he was suspended. So seeing all these flashbacks after seeing all those flashbacks after Maria like mentioned it to Dexter, being like, Dokes always knew something was off about you, and now I'm thinking he was right. And then you flash back to all those different times. I think it was pretty much the fact that he Dexter acknowledged that it was the fact that he tried so hard in front of Dokes. He tried so hard to be normal and to be human that Dokes knew that he knew that because it was because Dokes made him aware of how creepy he felt around, how creeped out he felt around him. He knew that it was because of that Dexter was trying to be different. He was actively trying to be something that he wasn't. He was trying to be like socially outgoing and funny and stuff. And he quoted a serial killer, like I mean, using that quote as well. I think that was the issue. If he had said it was just his dad, then Dokes would have just looked up in the notebook and said like, "Oh, is the hooker killer your father now? Is that your daddy now?" But yeah, no, I really missed Dokes. I really missed Dokes. He was hilarious. He was really hilarious. And I remember back when I was watching season 2, back when I was that early in the season, I was still so naive. I was just thinking like, I just saw him trying to turn the gas off, but then being blown up inside the whole cabin. I was like, he's still alive, right? I was that naive. I was like, well, yeah, sure, he got burnt to a crisp, but he's still alive, right? He's still, it's just like a red herring or something. Like they wouldn't really kill off Dokes. And then come the next episode, I was like, holy crap, they actually killed off Dokes. Just to make a point about Lila's character, they actually killed off Dokes, and that really pissed me off. I loved his character, so yeah. But seeing those flashbacks was really, really cool. And again, he was the catalyst. He was the catalyst for all of this. So Dokes being the Bayharbor Butcher was what actually allowed Dexter to get off scot-free and to continue, running around killing people in the name of the good fight. So yeah, Maria knew all of this. But then Maria, I think Dexter planning on killing Maria, that surprised me. I think this is basically the first time that, not the first time, I think unintentional kills. He killed the wrong person back in season 4, I believe it was. It was the photographer's assistant. He killed the photographer, but it was actually the assistant who actually was committing the crimes and abusing the girls. Killed him. Then there was like the woman who worked in, I think it was evidence or like records or something. Like she was like a family friend of the Morgans. She was a family friend, and she knew that Dexter's brother was the eye struck killer. She knew that Dexter's brother was the eye struck killer, and I think she knew that he was a killer too. But then she was on her deathbed, and she said, she wanted him to help her commit suicide. She wanted him to kill her by assisted suicide. So he fed her that poisoned pie. So that was another one. So that was assisted suicide. But then this one, I think this one again is like, it's a survival of the fittest kind of thing, similar to how Estrada's thing was, like, him choosing whether or not to actually risk losing his business because of Laura snitching out on him and his boys to thingy fucking Harry, and with Dexter's one, either risk going to jail and taking Debra down with him, or killing off LaGuerta. So LaGuerta, again, she's a high profile member of the law of law enforcement. She's a high profile member. Killing her would not be something that goes unnoticed. And I think that's going to be season 8's premise, actually covering up the murder of Maria, actually covering up her murder, because she cannot, especially after a fiasco like this, after a fiasco like trying to arrest Dexter Morgan, she cannot just disappear after all of that. There are going to be questions raised, there's going to be searches done, there's going to be investigations drawn, there's going to be stuff going on. So season 8 will be about actually finding her, and if they find her body, if they find out that she's dead, then they'll surely get. We didn't see what happened afterwards. I think we just saw them leaving the place and then coming back to the party. So we don't know what happened. So presumably season 8 will start with flashbacks of how they tried to cover up Maria's body. So yeah, I don't know. I think this time it will be somewhat more experienced, because I think season 7. The covering up of Travis's one was somewhat more improvised and somewhat more on the spot, and Debra was extremely inexperienced. But with this one, they've done it before. This one they will have to do a much better job because of who it is, because it's Maria LaGuerta, again, the captain of the Miami PD. So yeah, but season 8 I think is going to be about covering that up and making sure it never sees the light of day. But I don't know. I do not know. It's going to be the final season too. So I don't know if that's going to be like a substantial enough story to end off the entire show, like to end off the story of Dexter Morgan and Debra and everyone else. But yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Deb had to kill her. So it wasn't even a survival of the fittest for Dexter to end off with. Like, it was him. Like, he put one shot into her and filled her up with like half a dose of M99. But then when Debra showed up, it was her. It was down to her. It was down to her whether or not Dex lived or LaGuerta lived, and you could see the pain in her eyes. And even Dexter agreeing with it after all that Maria said, like, you're a good cop, to do the right thing, so shoot him. And even Dexter agreed with her, like, Dexter, he never wanted her to go down for this. He never wanted her to actually go down for his crimes or for his sins, or be, have her own reputation and name be muddied by by the crimes he's committed. So it was a truly, just a life-altering decision for her to actually have to kill LaGuerta. And I think as soon as I heard that shot, I thought she would have actually gone. I thought she would have tried to go for Dex, and then we wouldn't even, well, he would have survived because, again, season 8, it's right around the corner. But yeah, no, as soon as I heard that shot and I saw Maria just flying back into the water, I was like, wow, okay, she just killed Maria LaGuerta. She actually went for Maria, and then she just broke down and went to console her dead body in the end. So yeah, season 8 is going to be a tough one for Debra. I am calling that right now. Season 8 is going to be the toughest season that that Deb has actually faced in this show's run. And again, it being the end, I'm expecting them to pull out all the stops and to actually not go, not go light and easy on it. It's going to be a hardcore season. They're going to want to end it on a high note. So for that reason alone, I'm looking forward to it all the more. And especially because Hannah's around too. Hannah escaped. I don't know what I think. What she must have told. What she must have told Arlene was to actually maybe just sneak a pill into the courtroom and actually, hand it to her before their little hugging send-off. So she took the pill, went into a seizure, and then escaped from the hospital. So she's going to be in season 8. She's definitely going to be in season 8. So we will see exactly what happens with her and Dexter now that she's going to go free. She's a wanted woman. She's a wanted woman. And she was not given bail. Her court case didn't go through. She wasn't given bail, so I think she was headed straight for the correctional, the prison. So yeah, so she's a wanted prisoner. So she's gonna want to lay low for a good while. So we'll have the Hannah and Dexter and Debra triangle going on all over again in season 8. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we had that. But yeah, Debra killing LaGuerta. I think my mind keeps flashing back to that. I think it's gonna be. Yeah, I think covering up Travis Marshall's murder. It was. I think with that one, they thought it was over with. They thought they did a good enough job, and that it was over and done with, and they had nothing left to worry about. But they didn't account for the fact that Dexter left some evidence behind of actually him having killed Travis Marshall himself. So Maria having her eye for detail, she caught onto that evidence, and then that spun a whole new web of lies and just like secrecy that they had to hide. So yeah, so that that was the catalyst for season 7 being so heavy for them, like in kind of like a slow build up kind of way. But season 8 again, it's the cover up of of the captain of the Miami PD. It's a high profile figure. It's not going to go away easy. They're going to have to fight to keep this under wraps and to keep this from going nuclear on them especially. People are going to ask questions. Investigations are going to be launched. Dexter and Debra are going to have to fight for their freedom, and it's going to be a heavy season. And I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing how this all ends. It's been a wild journey watching this show, and actually sharing this with you guys too. I'm glad to see you guys are still enjoying it, even with the glaring inconsistencies with uploading. But yeah, I am looking forward to seeing how this all ends off. But yeah, I think Deb, I feel sorry for her more than anything. She had to kill someone that she knew and cared about and worked with for so long. Someone who eventually, especially given that her relationship with her colleague ship with LaGuerta started off very rocky. Like, she wasn't even a proper police officer, and she had to actually work. She had to actively work for her role as well. Like, her father being a former cop made things easier, but she always had that kind of contest with LaGuerta, and eventually she grew to higher places. She got promoted and she got new jobs. So seeing her having to kill LaGuerta as well is going to be it's going to take a true psychological toll on her. And it's going to be interesting to watch how things break down for her, or how she kind of handles this, or fails to maybe. But I don't know. We will see. We will see exactly how everything comes back. I'm wondering if they can trace it back to Debra and Dexter in this, like. Because again, it's the fact that she dies literally right after this fiasco goes down, so they're gonna link it back. They're gonna have to be able to link it back. Like, oh, so Maria walks into your home one day with a couple of officers and has a warrant for your arrest and drags you into the police department where you work and interrogates you, and she does all of this. She accuses you of being the Bay Harbor Butcher, and then not a day or two later, literally not a day or two later, or even just 1 day later, basically. She ends up dead in the same container as the man who ordered the hit on your mother, like in a convenient kill for kill kind of crime scene case. Really, like, that's how this all went down. You had nothing to do with it. Like, it's not going to go down either of them, and especially with the idea Dexter had about the wound and stuff, like shooting the same wound. There's going to be 2 bullet holes now. There's going to be 2 bullet holes. There's going to be one. I think again, the one where he shot her where the knife was, would it not look like that was altered? Because I mean, it could mess up the knife. Like, the knife, like a knife, like, can be like a narrow, but like it can have some height to it. It can have some width, like in terms of like the top, like the sharp blade edge and the blunt edge. So that will already create like a very, very distinctive looking wound. But then you shoot a bullet through it. Surely there will be some markings of a knife being there left. Like, a bullet is nice and round. It leaves that kind of nice, round, clean hole. But then, should there not already be signs of the skin and the flesh having been teared from the thing? Wait, no, hold on. No, wait, no, okay, no, not for LaGuerta. No, that wasn't for LaGuerta. Sorry, my mistake. Let's just rewind. No, for thingy, for what's his name, Hector Estrada, like, for him, not for LaGuerta, for him, yeah, for him. So he said he would make it look like she shot him, after he stabbed him. So yeah, so like, again, points for signs, like, would it not look like there was an original kind of infliction wound there that was altered by the bullet hole? Like, should there not be a sign of the skin being torn by the knife first before the bullet entered, or would the bullet completely alter the knife wound? I don't know. That is my guess. Like, because again, knives and bullets are 2 different things. They're 2 different shapes. They inflict 2 different wounds. But yeah, and especially if the bullet goes through as well. I think if the bullet goes through completely, then it should be different. Then it could be different. But it could be, because if you're shooting it into the knife wound, then there's already empty space there. There's less resistance for the bullet to go through, so that should go right through. That should go with it, because if the bullet's there, like, it's a long knife he used too, so it should go at least halfway through, if not like halfway or less through. So then again, that's less resistance for the bullet to go through. That should cut clean through the knife wound and then come flying out the other side. So yeah, okay, in that case it might mess it up. In that case it might act in his favor. But then with her, he put a bullet wound in her as well. He put a bullet wound. I think he did stab her, right? Because he did. I think that is what he wanted to do. He did want to make it look like he stabbed her, like he stabbed him, but then he wanted to make it look like she shot him, and then he stabbed her to finish her off, and then shot her too. So yeah, so he shot her, and then La Guerta did the Debra, she did the killing shot. She delivered the killing shot that actually finished her off. So yeah, but then the bullet, could it not be traced back to a gun? If the bullet's still there, I think they can't take. I don't think they can take it out without actually altering the wound. No, because then that might create more damage. If they actually have to separate the walls of the wound to actually take the bullet out, then that might create more damage and be like, and then they'll be like, okay, so she was shot, but then someone else took the bullet out, because there's more damage from the bullet being taken out than from it going in. So, yeah. So if they have it. Again, unless the bullet went through all the way for her too, then the bullet's still in there. They can trace that back to Debra's gun. So again, yeah, this is why I'm assuming the next episode, the premiere of the next episode, should show us flashbacks about how they cleaned up everything. Yeah. Okay, yeah, but again, it's going to be harder anyway. Even without all the edits, it's going to be harder. Like, they will remember both. They will both remember having been there. They will both remember having killed La Guerta and Estrada, and they will both remember having covered up this whole thing and tried to go about their normal lives. So it's not going to be an easy return to their normal lives after having killed both of those people. But again, we will see. We will see what happens. Jamie and Quinn, that's a thing. Is that a thing? Is that going to be a thing? I think they seemed far more friendly now. They seemed far more friendly and somewhat more flirtatious with each other in this episode. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a thing. I mean, Quinn got dumped by Nadia, so him and Nadia didn't last long. It lasted about as long as it took for the Koshkas in America to be taken out of the picture, and then she saw her freedom and she ditched him and flew off to Vegas. So she dumped him, and then Lewis died ages ago. And to be honest though, Jamie broke up with Lewis long before he died, and he was a creep regardless. So yeah, so they're both kind of free for social mingling and for romantic mingling, or maybe even sexual mingling. But I don't know. We'll see what happens when season 8 rolls around. But she did make it clear that she could defend herself. So she didn't really need Batista to come around, but Batista did still see them talking to each other, and he was like, everything okay here? You guys, you kids playing well? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where that leads us. But yeah, I mean, Quinn's relationships have never ended well. They've never ended well. Like, Christine turned out to be the daughter of Trinity. Debra didn't end well. She said no to his proposal. Nadia ended up being nada, and now Jamie. I don't know how that's gonna work. I mean, she's Batista's sister. And the first time he flirted with her drunk at Debra's party, he ended up being knocked the fuck out by Batista. So how this goes down, I'm not too sure. But we'll see. We'll see if this is the one relationship that Quinn can actually have that doesn't go up in flames. We'll see. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this season. I think again, this season has been interesting. This season has been interesting to watch. I think it's felt weird. I think it's the one thing. It's one of the things I hate. Season 1 to 4. Oh no, seasons 1 to 5 I think were the ones I enjoyed the most. Like that first half of the season of the show's run even is what I enjoyed the most, and that's all on my original channel, which is actually those seasons were the reason I lost the original channel. So it's hard to come back and watch this every time knowing that stuff. But I'm learning to move on. Move into the future with brighter perspectives on things. But yeah, watching this season, I think this season and the last season, I think the story seems a bit messy at times. I'm not gonna lie, especially with this season, it seemed quite messy. Like with the whole Koshka thing, I think the Koshka stuff died. Like I would have liked for things to be different with Isaac. Like like part of me actually wishes that he could have actually lived in some sense. I mean, he was an antagonist, sure, and in the end, he was a man fighting for his own life after having lost the love of his to Dexter. So seeing his story ending, and then George ending, like the Koshkas in the US ending was, I think, satisfactory towards the end, because George was the main dick. George was the guy who ended up being a dick the most towards the end, so seeing him die was satisfying. But yeah, other than that, the story's been kind of here and there, and Dexter's had to worry. I think it's been nice knowing that he's had to worry about the Koshkas to begin with, but then afterwards he's found out that his life is in even more danger because of La Guerta. So it's been interesting seeing how that story unfolded. But yeah, I think it's just surprising that we're coming up to the end of the show's run. Like when I first started watching it, I was it was amazing. It was amazing. It was an amazing show. I loved. I wanted to get into it more and more the more I saw it. And I think it's even back then, a lot of people did warn me, like, enjoy the first 4 or 5 seasons, this first 4 seasons especially, while you can, to the best ability that you can, because after that it all kind of goes downhill, and then apparently season 8 is the worst, or at least the ending is the worst. I don't know how they can fuck up the ending. But yeah, even back then, so many people were happy to see it. And I'm glad that even some of you are still here enjoying it. I think as I went down, people just like I think as I got further into the show, like people due to their own kind of lack of enjoyment of season 7 and 6 and 8, kind of felt less interested. But I was always determined. I always told myself, this is a show I started. I'm gonna finish it. I'm not just gonna leave it hanging dry. Because if it's a true show like Game of Thrones is the only show that I haven't actually finished to its full extent. I've done, like a few reactions here and there with the intent, mind you, with the intent of actually doing all of season 8 too. But it just never happened. I ended up watching it all in my own time, and that's the only show I've actually never finished reaction wise. It's the only show I haven't actually done reactions to the end of. So with this one, I am gonna finish it off completely, and then it'll be the end of the journey, and then I'll replace it with another show, to my schedule. I'll add another show to the Dexter portion of the schedule. So yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride, and I look forward to riding that last ride with you guys. I'm hoping we can all enjoy the journey of Dexter season 8 together and see where it takes us and see how it ends and all that stuff. I think, and it's funny, even back when I was on season 4, I think season 4, season 5, I'd see rumors here and there. I'd see rumors on social media like, oh, like a Dexter movie is coming, or Dexter season 9, or like a Dexter reboot is coming, and Michael C. Hall set to produce or something, like something to do with like a continuation of Dexter. And I was like, oh, cool, that's fun. I mean, wait for me to catch up, but that would be fun. And nowadays, radio silence. I think it's the end of it. I think I know Michael C. Hall has done other stuff. Like he did like a Netflix series like called Safe or something. I think I saw the trailer for that a while back, and that looked interesting. He actually had a British accent for that. So that I might check that out. I might not. I don't really know. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun seeing how this show ends and what kind of surprises and twists and turns and what endings for the characters we get. Because I don't know who else we might lose in season 8 if we're gonna lose anyone else. But yeah, it'll be fun to see. But that is all I have for Dexter season 7 as a whole, and as well for episode 12. Surprise, motherfucker. That surprised me. I thought like when I googled the name, it was like surprise mother ... like the ellipses, and then title comes up in this like surprise motherfucker, and I was like, oh wait, that's Dokes' line. But yeah, it was good stuff. So I hope to see you guys in season 8. But that is all I have for this one. So that was Dexter season 7 episode 12, titled Surprise Mother ... So yeah, that is it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of this episode and what you thought of this season overall, and what you're looking forward to in season 8. Spoiler-free comments you have, of course, hit the comment section, any spoiler-free comments you have. And yeah, the uncut reaction will be available on Patreon, so feel free to go check it out. And yeah, that's it. So, I will see you guys next time.